Greetings everyone, I hope you're all well. Today I have a video on getting your study mojo back. I feel like this video is as much for me as it is for you guys because it has been such a long time since I've actually sat down and dedicated some time to studying Korean. But these tips are tips that I used the last time I had a really big slump, so I hope that sharing these tips with you guys today really helps. So I've got 5 tips for you today, so hopefully if you use these all together you might be able to find your study mojo again. Tip number 1 is to find your motivation. So what was it that originally drew you to start studying the language? For me it was Korean TV dramas, and watching them I really wanted to be able to understand what people were saying without using the subtitles. So that's kind of what sparked everything off for myself, and recently I've had the time to start watching Korean dramas and I've really found myself back in that place where it was all new to me and I really wanted to like find out what were these people saying and what is saranghae, what does this mean? So watching all of these dramas again has really reignited my interest for the language. So tip number 2 is to use materials that you actually look forward to using, because there's no point in jumping into studies with a huge thick grammar book that's boring as hell and you don't really look forward to using. For me, I like to use Talk to Me in Korean. I think they are fantastic and I've been using them since I kind of first started studying. I do have grammar books, and when I was like really into the studying for like 3 hours a day, I had quite a few different materials on the go just to kind of get some variation. But as I haven't studied in probably like a year and a half or something, so I think it's easier to start off with the easier materials and the ones that you do enjoy using, as opposed to, you know, trying all the big difficult stuff. Tip number 3 is to get into a manageable routine, because there is no point in studying 1 week, leaving it for another 3 weeks, studying and then leaving it for another 4 weeks, because inconsistency is not going to help you learn any sort of language. So my tip to you is, whether it be an hour a week, 2 hours a week, dedicate a time that you know is just purely for studying. That way you know what you have to do, you know you've got that time set out and you can't make too many excuses. That time is for studying and that's what you've done. So I wouldn't say, you know, study for 3 or 4 hours a week. Do what's manageable for you and do what you know realistically you can dedicate. Tip number 4 is to take baby steps. So this tip kind of reiterates point 2 and 3 in that you shouldn't try to do too much. Don't run before you can walk, basically. Now if you've been studying for 1 or 2 weeks and you're thinking, okay, I want to add some more materials, you might find that you're just going to overwhelm yourself and then you're just going to be back at square one. So what I would say is, if you've been consistently studying for quite a number of time, be it 4 or 5 weeks, you're in your routine, you feel comfortable and you're kind of getting that hunger again where you want to dedicate more time, you want to add more materials to your repertoire, then that's the point I would say go and do that. Don't try and do too much too soon, because you will kind of lose your motivation. Lastly, tip number 5 is to practice patience. Like most things in life, becoming fluent in a language doesn't happen overnight. So you're not going to become fluent in 6 months, 8 months, unless you're like a super polyglot genius, then sure. But if you're just like normal and you're studying a language in your spare time, there will come points where you feel like you've reached a plateau, your language learning isn't really progressing and you kind of getting a bit bored. That's the point where you switch things up. Maybe tweak your times that you study, tweak your materials, add new things, take out things, do what you need to do to make things a bit fresh. Try new things, maybe get a language exchange partner if you're not using one, practice the language. Do something different so that you won't get bored and you won't lose patience with yourself, because there will definitely come a point where you're just kind of like, okay, why am I not fluent yet? It needs to happen already. But persevere, keep the faith, and you will get to where you need to be. So guys, those are my tips for getting back into studying. I definitely need to take notes and listen, because I'm getting that study itch. I just need to do point 2 and 3 and that should be good. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and found it helpful. If you have any tips, then feel free to leave those below and I will speak to you guys all next time. Bye.